Hi, everyone. Welcome back to with Anxiety, Panic, and PTSD. I'm Enrique. Thanks for joining me. So far, we've learned a little bit about anxiety and anxiety disorders. Today's topic is going to be panic attacks and panic disorder. So, panic attacks are really interesting. They're actually a protective instinct by our mind developed to kind of keep us out of danger. The problem with it is we're currently living, well, in society, we don't put ourselves or end up in dangerous situations often enough for this to happen, right? Like this tool was built to kind of keep us from getting eaten by predators um, long ago. Um, so, what's a panic attack? In general, panic attacks are kind of an overwhelming feeling of dread. Um, it kind of feels like there's a fear of dying. You feel like you're dying. You're not in control. Um, like there are a lot of symptoms. For me, what generally happens is I start choking and my vision gets really blurry or hazy, and I feel like I'm floating out of my body. At the same time, I'm having all the symptoms of a heart attack, right? There's chest pain, rapid breathing, um, lots of sweating going on, tightness of the muscles. Um, and the hard part is like a panic attack usually comes out of nowhere in most cases when they first start. And it's hard for us to figure out, what's triggering this, what's causing it. Um, and usually, what happens, a panic attack will last probably about 10 minutes or so. And there's nothing anybody can really say or do to stop the panic attack once it gets started, um, which is really weird. It feels like a roller coaster ride that you can't get off and you don't want to be on. Um, and interestingly enough, I've had panic attacks over some really, funny things. I had one after making a healthy smoothie, and I accidentally made more than usual. And while I didn't think about it at the moment, um, my mind kept focusing on it. And over time, I started, getting the tightness of my chest, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And I kept focusing, my mind kept focusing on, hey, you've had too much of this healthy drink. You're probably gonna OD. You're gonna die. There's no one around that's gonna help you. Like those were the thoughts that were going on in my mind. Um, so it can be pretty weird. It can be hard to um, get in control or feel like you're in control of yourself, and even harder to explain what it is that you're going through to somebody who's never had one. Like if I were to try and explain it to somebody, I would probably say take your worst fear and pretend that you're locked in a room with that and there's no way out. Like there's nothing you can do to get away from it. And there's a lot of other symptoms than what I just went over. Some of them are like chills and hot flashes and nausea, headache, dizziness, and you feel tired after a panic attack. It drains your energy. Um, so the interesting thing is, many people will probably get a panic attack maybe once in their life, um, but there's a chance that um, you start to get panic attacks more often, and this leads to a panic disorder. What a panic disorder is having multiple panic attacks like all the time. Um, and maybe not all the time. It could be like one or two a day, one or two a week. There was one point that I actually had to leave work because I was having between 5 and 7 panic attacks a day, and it got to the point that I could not, do the normal things that we take for granted, right? Like going to the grocery store, um, going to social events, sometimes even leaving the house. So panic disorder can be really disruptive. Um, and there's a couple interesting things about panic disorders. One is that sometimes you have the panic disorder because you have this fear of having a panic attack, which leads you to have the panic attack, and it becomes very cyclical. The other is where you don't actually have the fear of the panic attack, but you you find that situations that are very stressful easily lead you to panic attacks. So you start avoiding all those places, right? Um, so what can we do about this? Well, first and foremost, like when you find that you've had a panic attack, it's best to get help from a mental health professional. Panic attacks and panic disorder are really really hard to manage on your own. Um, I tried to hide it for quite some time, and it got to the point where I had a panic attack in front of a manager of mine, and I could no longer hide it. Like I literally broke down at work, but I hid it very well for a long time. Um, and that's not a good thing to hide it, right? Because number one, we don't get the help we need, and secondly, we're avoiding um, dealing with something that's causing this. For me, it's emotional stuff, right? I can't really tell when I'm getting emotional until it's kind of too late. And my mind's like, hey, something's wrong here. Let's deal with it. And it puts me into this really defensive mode. So, if you've had panic attacks or you feel like you may have had a panic attack, get in touch with a mental health professional and start treatment. There's plenty of different treatments. Some of the ones that I've gone through, and I'll probably discuss more in depth in later videos, are cognitive behavioral therapy, group therapy, where we meet up as a group of individuals who share common uh, backgrounds and just work through some of the things that could be causing it. There's medication, and I would say last but not least is to have a support system in place. And I'll go into a lot of detail on the support systems in later videos. Um, but those are kind of the important things to help with panic attacks and panic disorder. I'll post a couple of links to more information on panic attacks and panic disorder in the description of this video. But please don't use this video to diagnose yourself. Like I said, if you believe you're facing, panic attacks and panic disorder, please get in touch with a mental health individual, or at least talk to somebody, and maybe they'll help you get in touch with the right person. Don't do it alone. Um, and as usual, if you have any questions or topics that you want covered in these videos, please email me at empanic2021@gmail.com. If you found that these videos are useful, please like and share them and subscribe to see the next video. If you're having some mental health issues outside of what we're chatting about on these videos, please get in touch with the doctor or a mental health professional to start working through proper treatment. And if you need, if you're facing a crisis right now, please dial 911 and ask for some immediate assistance. You're not alone. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.